Hi there. So we are finishing up our thesis paper today. We're going to be doing our final draft. This should be pretty simple, assuming that you did the rough draft to the best of your ability. And even if there are things that you need to change with your rough draft, I've already told you what those changes are. So let me go ahead and show you what I mean by that. So what it is that we're actually working in is this document here. So you can see that there's just sort of like some instructions, some very basic instructions, but that the rest of your final draft is going to be essentially typed here. That being said, because of how we are setting things up for this thesis paper, at least, and even in the future, right? Really, what you're doing is you're taking your rough draft and you are fixing it up. You are making any like small changes that you might need to. Again, hopefully, if you did your rough draft correctly, there's very little you have to do for your final draft. So let me go ahead and show you what I mean. So this would just be an example of a rough draft that has feedback left. So if you ever see, right, this sort of highlighted, almost like light orange color, right, what this is referring to is a comment that I left on your rough draft. And so maybe it says, something needs to be added. Maybe it's saying that something needs to be changed or that some information is not quite correct. Whatever it is, that is what you need to be fixing in your final draft. Now, let me go ahead and show you how we're going to actually do this. So what you want to do is you want to take this, right? You want to highlight it, and then you want to copy it. If you can't do that, if for whatever reason on your Chromebook that doesn't help or that doesn't work rather, push Control C after it's highlighted, and then it'll copy it. Or you can just do what I did. You can right click or double click, I suppose. Okay, so then you want to get over here, and then you want to click paste, right? So this is how it looks, right? It's double space, which is good. This is how it's supposed to be. The only thing it's missing is the indentation, right? So you just want to go at the beginning of the paragraph and you want to press tab on your keyboard, which is on the left side of your keyboard. And so that makes it indented. That way it's clear to me, like when you're starting a new paragraph, right? Like if I take the second paragraph, right? And obviously this one's just like just an example. So it's not actually filled out. Yours will hopefully be filled out. So we're doing the same thing right underneath. Okay. And then again, we are tabbing so that it's clear that this is the beginning of our second paragraph, right? If you don't tab and it's just one long thing of text and I'm not able to tell any kind of organization or like when something starts or ends, I'm just going to return it. I'm going to tell you have to fix that because it's going to be way too difficult for me to grade, honestly, if that's the case. So make sure that you are doing that. Other than that, so like at that point, once you've pasted in here, now I would make the changes that I suggested in your rough draft, right? You could make it in the rough draft and then copy and paste, but honestly, I don't know. I mean, it's really up to you, whatever you think is easier, but I'm just going to do it this way. So if my comment said that this blank needs to be filled in, well, then I'm going to either type, right, Southern or Northern. Oops. You would only pick one, obviously, but I'm not telling you what is the right answer or wrong answer. There is no right answer or wrong answer. It's whatever it is that you're arguing is the whole purpose of the thesis paper, right? So yeah, that is pretty much it. So again, whatever changes you need to make, do that. If you need to go back to your outline or the Google slide that was attached to the outline, that would be, let's see. Remember that was in Monday's assignment. Monday's assignment is where you had the slide with all the information and it was broken down by the different pegs, right? And you don't have to go back to this unless I told you that some of your information is incorrect, right? And in that case, you would want to go back and you want to look at this. Other than that, let's go back to this one. If you don't have any highlighted anything, right? And in fact, if looking at the assignment, I left a private comment. Let's see. Not this one, sorry. This one. If I left a private comment here that says everything looks good, then you honestly don't have to change anything. You're good. Just leave it as is because I was impressed enough with your rough draft that I feel like it can essentially be your final draft. So make sure you look for any private comment that I leave. The only final thing is this is not necessary. You don't have to do this if you really don't want to, but it'll certainly make your paper look better. It'll make it look more like an actual final draft. We want to get rid of the highlights, right? So anywhere it's highlighted, you would just drag your mouse over it so that you've got it selected. And then you want to come over here, which is highlight color, and you just want to select none. And that way it'll look a little bit more normal. And then you can even go a little step further, and you can erase those brackets just so that it actually flows. Again, I'm not going to count points off if you don't do those two things, but eventually we're going to want to get to that point. So, yep. So that is pretty much it. Yeah, pretty simple. Let me know if you have any questions, and that is it for today. Have a good one.